Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the Renewal of Red Row. This is our fourth session. I am your GM, Alyssa. This is a Spire actual play. This was wildly out of order, but that is fine. You can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at a disaster queer, and I will pass it to my players to introduce themselves, starting with Joe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josephine. I'm at Scary Dog Friend. I am your co-producer / the producer of this stream. I do shit. I'm playing Freddie the Inkweaver, who made some sound decisions last session. I'm gonna pass it over to Nadine.
Tis I, Nadine. Coming from Snotville. I am playing Emir, Last Dawn Rising, our beautiful art connoisseur, ex-pet, and general hot boy, hot sad boy. And I'm super excited to be playing. I'm gonna throw it over to Rook.
Hello, I'm Rook. And today I will be playing Marigold, the Bound, our bounty hunter with a heart of gold. Oh god, I'm just playing the guy from The Mandalorian, aren't I? Well, with that, now take it away.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Hello! I should be fine now. I'm Netta, they, them, and I'm playing tonight De Niro the Knight. De Niro on the horizon. He, him. A very normal guy, all things considering. Someone who's never had to think of... Oh, I see. Someone who's never had to think of eviction a day in their life, and I will fix my mic right now.
Okay, that is everyone, and I am now going to recap what happened last time. I am very on the ball tonight. So previously, our beautiful, not at all disastrous Freddie decided that after a night of drinking with the lads, she should go hit up her ex. Specifically Mr. Winters, one of the major powers of Red Row, and a crime boss who we soon learned kind of thought she was dead? Question mark? Or at least missing, because Freddie just decided to ghost him randomly a few years ago. And as she told him, it was because she lost their child. Unfortunately, or fortunately, this was a lie. But because of some magical interference in her breaking into his home, that lie is now currently tattooed on her skin, as are any future lies that she tells this session. So that's good for everyone. Meanwhile, we had De Niro and Marigold decide that to get more information about what was going on, they would try and hit up the sisters, another power of Red Row, and get a job from them, which was easy enough because the sisters, or one particular agent of the sisters, has been desperate to get Marigold to work for them. The job they were given was to check up on members of the city's housing subcommittee and ensure that they would vote correctly, i.e. in line with the sisters' interests, which is also in line with the interests of one Leia Shines the Light, rather. And that they would vote in support of this renewal bill. So, they went to the first member of the subcommittee, the one that they were told would be sort of most in support of this bill, one Astrid Frank, who is a member of Red Row, whose apartments were just blocks away from your own, and yet who seemed completely disengaged from what was going on. and in fact quite happy about the evictions and about the renewal the prospect of a renewal, because that means that her property values will also be going up. So 1 vote secured. Good job, team. It seemed like De Niro and Marigold were not wildly sure if this was in fact a good job, team, and whether they should maybe just go back and murder Astrid instead. But that is a problem for today's game. So we will start, I think, with De Niro and Marigold, and I think that it makes sense that you wanted to pull Emir into this job as well, because one of the other members of the subcommittee, who you were told about, is Cassian Bell's Toll Warning, and Lorenzo specifically described them as sort of an artsy Spire person, which seems just perfectly in the vein of someone that Emir might know. So, where do we find you all?
Amir is probably on his bed after a heavy night drinking. He doesn't normally drink, so he's probably just in his apartment.
I think we ended the session with like us two getting like soup from Marigold.
That's right.
I do
Soup.
remember now.
Soup that Mrs. Jenkins offered to make, or like offered you, and it was Marigold's dead husband's recipe. And so Marigold was just like, oh yeah, no, I can make it better than this.
And then I cried a little. So I think the apartment would be the next rational place to check. Might even bring some soup. Assuming
Soup for breakfast.
all of this job stuff didn't take more than a few hours, and maybe it's still afternoon. We're like, we don't know if Emir's alive. I don't know. I mean, I know about hangover cures, but this shit's pretty good. You know, like.
Oh my god, the props and everything. Yeah, so I think we we go downstairs or upstairs. I don't remember where your apartment is in relation to Marigold's, but we go and knock on your door with soup.
I'm coming. Put the shirt on.
Take your time.
Oh, hi guys. Were we meeting or I wasn't aware. I thought I was doing my thing and you were doing yours.
No, we weren't planning to meet, but something came up.
Is that soup?
We need your help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have some soup.
Oh, thank you.
You aren't feeling too bad.
Come in. Oh, listen, the hangover's not fabulous, but sorry, why have I got soup and you're here?
You have soup because I made soup.
Fair enough.
It's pretty good. If Mrs. Jenkins is the standard to go by, it's indeed better. So
there we go. And the other thing.
The other thing.
The job we're on. Yeah. We figured we'd hit you up, seeing as we're not terribly busy unless you need help packing, in which case I'm always busy, but I'm able to put it aside for a day or so.
Note that down.
So basically, we went to go get a job. And the specific job is there are 3 people voting on all of this, the council's decision to kind of like overturn all of this.
Yep.
And the sisters wanted us to basically threaten the two people who aren't already on their side. We don't necessarily want to do that, but we
Right.
do want to get information from the two who are against the sisters, just to see what more we can find out.
Okay.
One of them is an artist.
Aha. An actual artist or a purveyor
Yeah.
of fine arts?
They were just described as an
An actual
artsy
artist?
type.
Cassian tolls the bell. The bell that tolls.
Does that
Does that
ring
bell?
any bells? It does.
Indeed, it
Oh.
does ring a bell for you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Cassian. Was that? That's me. Is that Cassian? Cassian is his name.
Yeah. You
Okay.
sound. Is everything okay?
Now, again, I'm just assuming, as Nadine, that they're insufferable.
So they are insufferable. They are a rich person who lives up Spire, and you have had
Beautiful.
sort of competing interests with them. Like you've both been tasked with buying, or rather, they want the same piece of art that you had been tasked with acquiring. But they are very much about the sort of artistic gradient of suffering in the Spire, and so they enjoy sort of really art that really encapsulates the suffering of the low Spire, and then getting artists sort of from different levels. And as you go up Spire, obviously the suffering decreases, and so the
Mhm.
art sort of changes in purpose as well.
Yep, gotcha. One of those types. Beautiful. Just looking up a specific painting that I can reference. Yep, perfect. Okay. Just going through my art history mind. Oh yes, Cassian. What a gem. A gem of a person. Yes, I can be of service for you here if you wish. Is that it? You just want me to get information from him?
Well, I mean, have you been face to face with him before? Because it would be most helpful if we understood, like, what side he's on, for lack of a better term, so we could figure out if we need to manipulate him or killing him as a last resort, or
Well, I would assume, Cassian being Cassian, that he might be on the side of keeping Red Row as Red Rowy as possible, seeing as that would be. He
That's what we
he
were
has a
told as well.
taste. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that's what we were told as well by the middleman between us and
Oh.
the sisters. But you were saying his taste?
His tastes are, how would I say, keeping the rabble rousers because it is inspiring to his small little pea brain. When no one suffers in their life, one has to view suffrage in order to be interesting, I guess. That's Cassian to a T.
So killing all of them is still on the table.
Okay.
no, Marigold.
Okay.
But
But listen, that might be good, I guess. We could use that to our advantage. If we inspire Cassian in any type of way, it might sway him.
Yeah, and if he's one of those rich types, he's probably more in tune with the political, governmental elements of this entire mess, and will probably be able to tell us stuff we didn't already know about what's going on that level. Like, Astrid was... told us bits and pieces. Alyssa,
Well-
I hate what you've just put in chat. Okay.
So, well, knowing that, how can I be of service? I guess. How can I help?
I mean, if you know them, maybe you have an in, so that we can get face to face and actually talk to them.
Oh, absolutely. All I have to do is show my beautiful face, and he'll, I don't know, try to be an asshole to it.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I don't know, does something in the genetics. Okay, so should we go? Give me 2 seconds to get changed.
Okay.
He rushes off to get changed.
Perfect.
Are y'all waiting in the apartment, or do you sort of wait outside, like in the hallway?
I guess whatever Emir's preferences.
Emir hasn't stated a preference.
Amir loves an audience. Go for it.
I was going to say,
I was
Amir
gonna say-
has opened the door shirtless before, as we have well established. So
I'm just gonna have some of the soup because it's literally getting cold. So there will still be some.
Cool. I guess we stay in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
He dons his like semi best if he's going to be looking and speaking to Cassian. There's a small part of him that is like, oh shit, I'm gonna need thread scissors and this is falling apart and oh no. But yeah, he gets stressed.
beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think you remember easily enough. You don't need to roll for it where you have met him before, beyond just at sort of art auctions or galleries or events. I think that he has probably thrown some sort of parties to show off his newest acquisitions. And as the once favored of a once very well thought of lady of the city, yeah, you can find his dwellings up in the Silver Quarter easily enough.
Can I barge in?
Oh, barge into the room? Absolutely. So before you get there,
We're like opening the door to leave.
And I'm just
we
like,
see
I like,
Freddie stumbling home.
yeah, literally, just like showing up. I think like it kind of looks like that she was like looking maybe for y'all. Like this wasn't her first stop. I promise it wasn't her first stop. And she's just sort of like, she's like pretty disheveled. Like she still like looks nice, but like I think Freddie's nice is like she could literally be the messiest alive and like still be presentable to like somebody. And she, yeah, I don't know. She's just like, oh, hello, everyone.
Oh, good afternoon, Freddie.
Hey, dude. You kind of look like shit.
Charming,
You're a bitch,
Madeira.
and I hate you. Did you know?
I mean, I'm glad you got home safe, I guess.
I went to your apartment for dinner, and I was just like, oh, not here, whatever. And then, I don't know, I figured y'all were maybe congregated somewhere, and I wasn't gonna How do we communicate in Spire? Do we like send pigeons? Like what's the?
Yeah, I don't think you have phones, so you can send like messages, leave messages. There's probably some magical means of communication, like a message spell that you could do if you have any sort of magical.
If out of anyone, I think I have the message spell. And Freddie, who is fully capable of making sure where people are with magic, was just like, I just for some reason didn't feel like cooking it up, whatever. We can talk about what I was doing very much later.
If you want to.
Is there anything you'll need from me today? Oh, I got information. That's also part of my barging, I guess.
That's good.
Well,
I mean, you can always get some rest and then join me to go speak to Leo if
I'm
you want.
well rested.
You're well.
We're fine. Can we get coffee? Are y'all busy right now?
Yeah. We can
want some
go get
soup?
coffee before speaking to Cassian.
What? There's soup?
yeah.
You're gonna walk and talk with soup?
I wasn't gonna fucking throw the dishware away. Like, you know how hard it is to
Throw it
lose
away.
a set?
I would have washed it and given it back.
Well, thank you.
Just throw it away.
I believe it
What
was
kind of
Marigold.
fascinating I am.
So, like, why would we leave it somewhere that's
Do I
not?
have like styrofoam cups so that we can like drink the soup as we're walking?
With
Sorry.
full
Yeah, I think-
earthen clay.
Beautiful
You do
terracotta. Let's
have
go.
like paper cups. I think that's fine.
Cool.
I pour your cup of soups like a civilized person.
All right. Well,
Oh, it smells familiar.
do you?
That was a choice. of
Jenkins
words.
special, I think.
Mm.
No, but Marigold, this is
What'd you say, Marigold? About the recipe?
Oh yeah, it was Michael's.
That's right. Yeah. I think Michael knew how to appreciate fennel a little bit more than Miss Jenkins does.
Yeah, he
Would I know Michael?
probably. How long have you lived here? Oh, 8 months.
Yeah, not long.
You probably wouldn't then.
Then what Amir's doing is this
Oh,
And I think like Marigold is kind of like, yeah, he used to grow up on our windowsill. Like I've tried to keep it up, but no green thumbs here. So they just kind of withered a couple months after he
Went to Disneyland.
withered. After you went to
In the
Disneyland.
sky.
that's Upper Spire.
Went to the other spire in the sky. To ask everyone a character question. Can you drink hot soup, or do you need to like wait for it to cool down a considerable amount?
De Niro drinks it and he braves through the pain. Like his face gets a little warm, but he's like,
Yeah.
"This shit is so good."
you gotta wait. Wait.
Do you say the ho 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 part as well?
It's far more manly and beautiful.
Oh, okay.
than-
Yes. I think she's like she's like using it for warmth before she can like comfortably get into it.
Marigold has stuck one of his knives in his boot, has taken a spoon from his kitchen.
From his boot.
No, from his kitchen, and is eating it with a spoon, and once he's done, he'll put the spoon in the holster to then wash later.
Nice. I think Freddie will walk and talk just so that we can get to the location at the very least. She's just inserting herself into y'all's plans. And I think she essentially tells as much as she can. I think she has forgotten and where she's standing. I think she's like on the very like right side of everyone else. So everyone can see the tattoo. It just looks like a bloody, like edgy font at this point. And if anyone, I think it's pretty clear that she forgot, and it says, I sold the baby. Very haunting tattoo. And as she's talking, I think she relays as much as she can, or as much as Joe remembers, that Mr. Winters is like doing what he can, that there is a contact that is like already on our side, so useless. And Alyssa, did I get the name of this person?
Yeah, sure. Their name's Maraid.
Maraid. But I think and also, sorry, did we get like Maraid's like contact or like whereabouts? Like where can we find them?
Yes. So you learned that they are probably hitting up Captain Morning Rose Without Mercy, who is also on the list. But if you don't run into them there, then they are also regularly at this bar, which is where we saw Marigold and them meet up in the first episode.
Word. Okay. And I just sort of say we have a potential ally, basically, and if we want more information, we could potentially try and hit them up. And that's pretty much it. And then maybe the tattoo evolves into like, I don't know.
It just says, "Now we fucked."
Like maybe like a beautiful little like poetic beginning of a story of like, and then Mr. Winters and the lost nymph fucker laid together, or like something like really like beautiful and like strange is like just weaving itself like on my arm, and I've fully forgotten about it. So like,
So are you saying you don't feel it, like, because it's in blood, like on your skin?
I don't think so.
Because I forget how it's exactly described.
Like the initial like thorn was that like that hurt, but then the blood I think stayed just like above the skin magically.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think De Niro gives you a side eye because he's probably on your left, like not directly, because he said it's on your right arm.
Yeah, and then nothing happened. And then that was pretty much it.
Yeah. And then that happens, and he's like, "Hey, I don't know if that's a today thing or a magic thing. Actually, I'm not going to ask about what's on it. What happened to your arm?"
And then I think as soon as you say that, I like in shock, just like a look over at like you, De Niro, and like I look at everyone. Someone give me their jacket right now.
He already has his jacket like a little off.
Great.
It's like, all right.
And I'm just like, it's like a giant, yeah.
Yeah.
The magic of Spire, folks.
Is it just cosmetic? Like, are you okay?
It's fine. I fucked up trying to get to his house, and then it just goes into I broke into his house.
As you're trying to cover it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's changing, Freddie.
No, it's not. And then you can't see it anymore, but it starts to like change.
Like the slightest glow underneath. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right, I can see why this needs to stay covered. All right. So you went to Mr. Winter's house, and he gave you a parting gift kind of fucked up.
I gave him a parting gift.
Well, I believe that.
You know, I don't
Emir
believe
snorts into his soup.
Mhm. I don't believe that people should get like it's been a while moments. Like that's not what happened. It was more of like fog cloud and then I disappear and then I don't know.
Fog cloud. Maybe I'm old. Okay.
We're like the same age, you bitch.
Yeah, that's what's really funny is like we also look very, very similar in age. So he's like he's looking almost like younger than you, I'd say.
I think
Just
so.
Thoughtful. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna judge you at this moment in this stressful
I
time.
don't care.
I know you don't care. It's not useful right now, though. So, man, do you know how long? I mean, you're a magic person. Is that going to just stay there forever?
It should end by the end of today, which is still very fucking annoying.
Jeez, yeah, we woke up kind of early, and we're supposed to finish this job by the end of the day. So great. You can keep that for the day. Is Emir like looking?
Yeah, what is
I'm,
Marigold
like,
and Emir
curious.
doing?
This is a good soup. That's it. That's it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so you all together now are able to sort of take the elevator up Spire, and then you have to, get on one of the giant riding pigeons and sort of ride it around up a level, and then find another elevator, and there are another couple elevators. They really want to make it hard for you to come down or to come up from the lower levels because
I
we
fucking
don't
hate this
really
place.
want the riffraff. So it's easy to go down.
It's just the pigeon onto the tram and then the tram back to a pigeon. It just doesn't make sense. And just city planning wise,
This has to be on purpose, right? Like,
Oh, but I tell you what, there is a very nice bakery down that street.
oh yeah, like, I guess that makes it all worth. I guess that makes it all worth it.
Honestly, their milkweed genuinely could cure diseases.
Me and De Niro heard MILF,
The
but he
milk
has no proper
Yes.
response for that, so he's just gonna be like, "Oh, well now we can hit it up on our way back, I guess." Baker is so hot.
They've got the baker's dozen, you know what I mean?
Oh, that most people only have 8 abs. It's fine though. Like eight at the most.
The other 6 go somewhere else,
It's 6 balls.
No,
Whoa.
no. See, technology's amazing and everything. Yes.
Marigold has broken through realities, is channeling the spirit of Eggman, and is just just walking behind you, all going, "What the fuck are you three talking about?"
I think Daenerys being relatively normal, all things considered.
De Niro's Knuckles, but who is Freddie and Emir? Shadow and Rouge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I can't
We're
really.
not gonna
yep.
say who's who though.
No.
I think it's
No.
clear.
Anyway,
Cassian's house is what? Just down this road?
Yeah,
we
so
have an
you
address, but yeah,
yeah.
I love how we're
and
just gonna ignore that.
I mean, you don't need an address. You have a guide now, which is useful because the Silver Quarter is the district that is, rather than streets, mostly canals. Not for any like functional or flooding purpose. It is extremely aesthetic and extremely
Is this
inefficient.
place about to flood every time it rains?
Just imagine the downpour, like the level right below.
Yeah.
Terrible. The fact that the water is on the top like a fountain that's like top heavy says so much about this place.
It's fine. But that means that they do sort of wind and weave, and it's a little confusing. But with Emir, it's easy enough for you to find this. I think that it is almost like a bungalow, but like, you know, when rich people are like, I want this like small, like minimalist getaway, but everything is super fancy and expensive, and it's not like feasible for anyone else to actually acquire. It's sort of those vibes. And the entire exterior, the walls are made of glass. So it is easy enough to see inside, and there are some figures sort of deeper within this bungalow. 2 of them.
Oh god, I hope they're not fucking. Oh, okay, alright.
I would
Just
feel rude for
opens the gate. Walks in. Raps on the front door.
There is a pause, and then the sort of sound of feet. For some reason, all the walls are glass, the door is not. So you can clearly see him like pause and have to lean over and like look out the window beside the door to see who's there. Awkwardly, there's no way to hide it, but he like very much brightens up when he sees your face, Amir. And I assume that you are in the front of this group of
I'll
misfits.
head this spear.
Beautiful. The door
Yoo-hoo!
opens, and you see an Aelfir. They have like
God damn
red
it.
hair. Just that. Red hair, like a lot of freckles, but some of them are like multicolored and clearly like tattooed on in some sort of arrangement that means something to him. And again, dressed in just like a sort of very simple like white shirt and trousers, but if you look closely, it's like, I guess it's basically brocade. Like, it's just so heavily embroidered that it almost fades back into nothingness, and it's all in the same color, the white. And he says, "Oh, this is just a day full of old friends. Please come in. Who are your escorts?"
Oh, these are my very good friends. De Niro, points to De Niro, Marigold, and you don't know. This is Freddie. He like catches himself on it. Very mysterious figure. Anyway, let's move into this stunning household.
The question
that
is
you-
now, do I know who Cassian is, or am realizing whose house we have walked into?
Which is
Yeah,
so funny
I
because we
mean-
said his name before.
She
Look,
wasn't
she had other
listening.
men on her mind.
Of course.
He's enjoying the soup.
Is this the sort of like artsy dilettante, like, is that the sort of person that Freddie would have encountered or spent time with?
For clout, yeah.
Beautiful. Then, yeah, I think that this house has changed significantly since you last saw him, but like, you know, it had to update with the times, with the aesthetics.
Freddie, I think when she like realizes fully what's happening, she like slaps De Niro. Why didn't you tell me it was this way?
Oh my fucking god. Did I have to tell you 3 times? I'm gonna, you know what? Woman's never done anything wrong in her life. I'll take the blame. Sorry, I should have asked if you knew him, as opposed to just, you know, names and shit. They can mean so much. And people, he gets almost like a faraway look. Because he's been kind of stiff ever since, like, coming up here, and also polishing his mask
No,
like,
totally.
a little bit offhand. So he does seem a little out of it, but he just like I admit defeat on that one. This was clearly a very, very packed day, and well, I don't think you know the other person, the captain, who's the guy that I know, but me, the player, has forgotten.
I'm just gonna.
Do you have to leave?
No, I'm just gonna take it out on either one of you at any point throughout today, and you'll just have to know I'll be fine tomorrow once this fucking tattoo is off of my body.
I deserve it. Okay.
In my eyes, you're a woman.
Does the tattoo change when you say I'll be fine tomorrow?
Yes, but like I think maybe only like the 3
Press
of
X
them.
to doubt.
Right, yeah. I think only the 3 of y'all kind of maybe almost see like a faint like red light every now and then. But like if she like hides it away like enough, it's like not noticeable. So whenever I lie, there's like a very clear indicator. You can just look at her left elbow, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like you're gonna want to clean that jacket when you give it back to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cassian!
You know, Cassian, I will say to date, Amir kind of like manhandles him and like pushes him back so he like an arm's length away. You're looking. I can't tell if you're giving Saturn or the devoured sun.
Jesus Christ.
Either way, stunning.
He sort of inclines his head at you. I forgot to mention that because this is up Spire, he is wearing a mask, which is sort of this beautiful, almost like inverted pyramid, made out of like thousands of facets of broken mirror. So it reflects back your own like face, but you know, shattered and kind of warped, and everything's at weird angles, and there might be some magic on some pieces, so they do some funky things sometimes.
I look over to as Amir's doing the art thing. She's just like cringing to herself, and she like is like looking over so pointedly at like De Niro and Marigold, and just sort of like, I'm feeling right now like Kronos eating his fucking babies.
I don't know too much about the mythos of all that, but that sounds bad.
I'm feeling like La Pieta.
So what are we on now? I see we're at the reflection stage. Is that what we are, or we're looking at soul movement? What are we working with?
I've decided that, and will sort of let you like shove him into the house and let the other people in, and almost sort of thoughtlessly shifts into hosting, like going over towards a bar and sort of gesturing to you all to say it. I've decided that given my prominence in the city, my true calling is to shine a mirror, reflect the truth of Spire back onto its occupants. You know, I both embody the city in my role on the council and also
Mm.
By doing so, I show them what it is that they are.
You know, I can always rely on you, Cassian, to spearhead, to be the trailblazer, the one who has the thoughts before everyone else. That is how you've always been. So, I'm sure you're wondering why it is that we're here. We are seeking your wisdom on a specific subject.
Can Marigold just kind of lean over to De Niro and kind of say, we would have been eaten alive if we came here by ourselves?
I've never agreed more with you. I am going to stop talking.
Cool. This conversation is happening at whisper level to not
Mhm.
interrupt. Okay, please carry on.
Like those 5
And
words will
literally at that moment, Emir goes, so I guess I'll hand it over to my dear friends here. They have a they have a couple of questions they'd like to ask you. If you have the time, I'll make a highball at this time in the day, or would you prefer an old fashioned?
They sort of turn to face what you assume is all their attention. Again, you cannot see their face. And just say, they like gesture to where you are reflected in their mask. What is it that you desire?
Insufferable.
I think Cassian sees like a guy almost timidly peeking behind, like he was very much mulling over whether or not to just put it on, even though he came in here with no mask, and I'm assuming everyone else except for maybe Emir doesn't have a mask. Seeking wisdom. I am. We've been sent to talk shop about council, but I'm curious about 2 things, I guess. What is the truth of the Spire, as you so simply put it? If that is your journey and stuff, I won't pretend to speak at your professional level.
He sort of puffs up. You can feel the like glowing smile from behind the mask, and he claps you on the shoulder and says, "Oh, my dear, I could talk for ages, for days about the truth of the Spire, of course.
How about like an hour?
Now, would he recognize you, Freddie? Because presumably you have been masked in the past when seeing him.
I think she has always kind of been a bitch, so I feel like that might be up to your hands.
Okay. He does not seem to register your presence as anything other than an annoyance who just cut him off. Did you, turning to Emir, did you bring me some ruffians for balance? I see. I mean, obviously you and this one, pointing to De Niro, are wonderful, but darling, I can balance myself. You didn't need to bring the other 2.
Amir kind of like tilts his head. You see his mask. His mask is a half white, half black with gold tears. Very simple, very plain face mask. He kind of like slowly moves his head to Freddie and is like, well, it's always good to be challenged, is it not, my darling? That is how we... Well, that's how we grow, is it not?
I found that I can also grow just by reflecting in myself and in my own image. I don't need the challenges to come from without. Other than, of course, when I can just see things and learn things and be challenged by the art that comes into the world. I don't need people for that.
I think
Well, then perhaps take it as a learning lesson for me. I started with a certain idea in mind, hoping that maybe something volatile might happen and inspire me. Apologies if you can't provide that. I thought maybe you may be able to do that for me at least.
What's Marigold saying?
Oh, just a quick thing, Alyssa, if you'll allow it. I think as he's gesturing towards me, so Marigold is wearing his like full mask, like he never leaves Red Row without wearing his mask. And I want to disrespect the rules of Spire completely. So you know how I have that ability that allows me to blend into the crowd? Can I
Absurd.
bend that so I do not reflect in his mirrors?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just like he turns towards me and I don't know if they can see what's reflected in their mirrors. Like they can see me just fine, but we all see that like in the mirrors just Marigold is not there.
Very cool.
That's it. That's all.
I'm gonna make Amira's life easier, potentially harder by like engage. Like I like when you look over to me, I like look over at you like just sort of a shrug of like I'm not gonna mince words necessarily, and then kind of like the realization of like he probably doesn't remember who I am just by my voice. It's been like 10 years or something, or like since I don't know, childhood proper. So I think for the first time, Freddie will take out her mask. Maybe she has like a little, like a purse or like a little, some contraption with which she carries some stuff. Magical pocket. And she will take out finally her mask from her family, her childhood, which is a hahatal Korean traditional mask, which represents the maiden or the gakshi mask, which is like a smiling like young girl's face with like little red circles for like cheeks for like blush basically, but I believe there isn't a circle at the top because she's not married yet. And then once I would become married, I would fulfill the final like red circle on my forehead. But I just sort of like kind of like slap it on my face and then just sort of go, I guess it's been that long. I guess it's been long enough, Cassian.
He almost like pulls back, sort of looking at you disbelievingly, because the way that you're acting is not befitting for someone who holds that mask of that family to which you belonged. But it would be deeply insulting for him to say, like, that's not yours. Like, it is assumed culturally that if you have a mask, that it is yours. That is your unique identifier more than your face, for the like family level masks at least. So it says, oh, apologies. You're blending in with the apologies.
Sufferers. Yes, I'm sure I am.
Are you perhaps doing your own embodiment of the Spire?
Freddie looks at Emir and is just like sort of like searching your face a little bit for maybe like a lie or like an answer. And she's like, it's just sort of, she's standing in like kind of a way. She's like jutting her elbow out to face De Niro and Marigold at the very least, and like out of the way. And what is like the expression on Amir's face right now? Or like, what are you sort of feeling?
I think it's difficult because Amir's wearing the mask, so you can't see his expression.
That's true.
But you can see that he has kind of when he's been walking around with you guys, he's relaxed. He, is slouching a little bit. He's still, got that upright figure of someone who's worked in servitude for a long time, but he is more at ease soldier type thing. But right now you can see he is ramrod straight. He has arms behind his back. He has completely reverted back to his indentured self. But you can tell probably that it's 100% an act. He's doing it for the act right now. Okay. So he'll kind of, and I think he'll motion and quietly say to Cassian, enough for you to hear at least. We're all deeply affected by that around us, no, Cassian? Freddie has spent some time below Spire. And, well, I think you can see that it has affected someone deeply. You would know this, of course.
Of course. It's simply that she went missing, and I never assumed that she left too. I'm so sorry. I simply thought that perhaps you had left the city altogether or ventured into the heart.
You artistic lot. It can get a little difficult attempting to balance the two of you's conversation. What Darling here, and like she puts a hand on Amira's like arm, kind of, is for some reason neglecting to say is that we finally did the thing and we're married. And I went to do the proper pilgrimage of mothers. If you fucking forgot, that's what was planned.
Yes.
Yes.
He slowly places a hand atop yours and is like, surprise.
I am going to need one of you to make me
I got it.
Deceive high society. Okay.
I got it.
If you want, you can also roll with, I don't know if we can do this. I
if you
have
wanna
servant to the high ones, which means I roll mastery on my social checks when talking to Elfia.
Okay, great. Yeah, so add an extra dice, Joe.
It's a 10. That's like 2 10s.
Nice.
Again, the sort of blooming, like,
flash.
I think that there is... there is, like, a capelet attached to the back of his shirt, and he sort of casts his arms out dramatically, and the cape spreads in, like, a beautiful display of, like, just how happy he is for you two. He says, my greatest felicitations to the both of you. I can see it, Freddie, you always were a sort of wild card and running off with, sort of looks towards Emir and doesn't say a servant. Running off.
He bows anyway with gritted teeth.
And I'm sure that he can keep you in line. I mean, I knew something must have pulled him away from the poor lady, poor Area.
To a degree, kind of, maybe it was me. But, Amir for the longest time was the one that, like, actually knew how to cook. So I had to learn how to do it, I guess. It's been fine.
She doesn't burn things anymore.
I'm glad to see that everything is balanced out. You, turning to Emir, you've clearly improved the dear Freddie so much, and I mean, that...
Can you call me Frederica? Freddie is just sort of like a name for Emir.
Oh, of course, my dearest apologies. You balanced out, dear Frederica, and in contrast, poor Blooms at Night is... Well, you would know better than I, wouldn't you?
Yes. He goes to ask, but doesn't. Well, that's my past, and Freddie here, Frederica, is my present and future.
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of your past, I got so wrapped up in all of you. And he will sort of leave the room, which, again, all the interior walls also glass. There is literally nowhere in this house that you cannot see through, but with all the different layers, it sort of gets fuzzy. And says, I mentioned that it was a beautiful day for reunions. Another one of Adea's entourage was just visiting.
Oh no! Oh, wonderful! Leans over to Freddie. What the fuck?
I feel high. Don't ask me.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to the come down. Oh, who have you got for a surprise for us? Who is it?
It is Quiet Mike, so not as bad as it could be.
Okay, who he? Sweat.
But he says, "Oh, please take a seat." And he sort of physically arranges you around a table, and I think it's clear that there's a gradient of where he places you. So Marigold is on one end, then there's a space left empty, possibly for Mike, and then De Niro, Emir, Freddie, and he will take the other end of the table.
De Niro's gonna stand
We
at
love
the door.
hierarchy.
I'm gonna bring
De
vodka
Niro.
out from the bar.
Nice. If I do see Quiet Mike, I will go up to him and say, "Oh man, it's been some time."
I was
Oh,
muted.
you're muted.
Literally Quiet Mike.
Quiet Mike.
I didn't expect to see you in this business anymore.
Not quite in the business, I guess, but well, not the same as yours, at least. Are you taking over from my duties?
No, of course. Of course, Muriel still holds most of your responsibilities. I was simply reaching out. The lady is hoping to return to society soon.
Is she now? Oh, that's wonderful for her.
I think now. Sorry. I think Emir will notice because I think just Freddie just putting herself in the situation that she just did with him. I think it's now her turn to kind of be ramrod straight a little bit whenever they mention the mistress. That's it.
He notes it from from his peripheries, but doesn't try change anything. Well, that's wonderful to hear. Soon? Time frame?
I mean, as long as it takes, of course. I'm sure that your return would expedite the time frame quite a bit, though.
Oh, I'm sure it would. However, not quite how it works, I suppose.
Just because you were able to leave doesn't mean that you can't return.
As far as I understand, she's going to have to get the funds back.
How well known is her situation to the outer world, I guess?
Yeah, so I think that what people know is that your ex-mistress, Adea Blooms at Night, she quickly exited from sort of high society. People assume that she is retiring at, maybe like the equivalent of a country house somewhere in a sort of lower Spire,
Mary
or maybe
Antoinette.
this even exactly. But the specific reasons for it aren't super widely known. I think that folks who, may have been in business with her obviously know, but that is the type of gossip that I think is valuable enough that you don't want to spread it without a really good reason. And I mean, she's basically in exile now, so what's it gonna get you? You got to keep that in your back pocket.
Then I suppose in that case, sorry, Emir will turn and kind of look over at Freddie. A small note above his head says, "Emir will remember this," and he kind of like claps Mike on the arm, and gives it a bit of a squeeze and says, It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well."
It's certainly been hard. The lady is taking... Of course, she took your loss. Hard.
I'm sure she'll get over it. On to bigger and better things, and, well, Mariella's got everything under control, I'm sure. As do you.
He is attempting to look stoic, but I think his shoulders sort of fall a bit and says, "She will always have me, it's true, but we both know that the two of you and Marielle, brought something out in each other in your service. I don't quite merit that spirit from her."
He like goes to say something and then thinks better of it and says, amazingly enough, Mike, we are our own people outside of our lady. It does you some good to remember that. No one can make sourdough like you can.
He
kind
had
he kind of like gives him a little punch.
he had started to like shake his head in like, wow, he's really lost the way. But I think when you mention the sourdough, it sort of, that disappointment sort of fades a little bit, and he gifts you with a smile. Why is it that you're here then?
Oh, my friends have a couple of questions for our dear, wonderful, treasured friend Cassian.
You can feel the sort of grimacing disdain from Mike at anyone like willingly coming here and interacting with Cassian, who I think at this point sort of returns to the table as a gracious host handing out drinks. And that is, I think, a good place to take a break. So we will be back in 10-ish minutes. See you then. Hello and welcome back. Before we get back to playing, we have channel announcements. Now that Eaten One by Night is wrapped for season 2, you can still get some vampires here on Bad House. So soon, in the fall. Not very soon, but it's coming up. Get hype. Madness Over Manila, which is a fall 2023 vampire/hunter story set in the Philippines and run by Fabs in the same world as the rest of the World of Darkness Bad House family of products. So that is something exciting to look forward to in the fall. And that is it for channel announcements, and we will get back into the lovely and conflict-free drinks that these lot are having.
At like 1 p.m.
Like, Cassian is living the same life as Freddie is in a lot of ways. But where did we close? Mike and Emir were talking about the fate of Mike's still lady, Emir's ex-mistress. And Cassian had come back to the table, I think, with the drinks for everyone, ready to sort of bring you all together and talk about whatever it is that you have come to talk to him about.
I think Emir would probably lead Mike back to the table, and I suppose as he kind of like comes back, because he would have put them between De Niro and Marigold, right?
Yeah, so Mike is between De Niro and Marigold, and you're on the other side of Marigold.
Okay. Then I think. Yeah, I think as Amir's going back to his seat, he'll kind of lean over to De Niro and say, just whatever it is that you want to do, just make it quick and also in his favor. Okay,
So
good
I
luck.
have to give him some. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for that.
And then sits down.
Okay, so it's like Cassian's like, is this like a roundish table or two sides?
No, it is fully just you're in a line, like you're basically sitting at a bar counter.
Okay, great. It's great because I don't have to look at him then. Kind of swirls thoughtfully. So Cassian, you have, I guess, a pulse on the nation, as you've kind of already put it. Me and Marigold are here because, you're on the council for the vote. He's not choosing his words like very well right now because he's still a little stiff and fiddling with his mask a bit, which is just on his shoulder right now. What is your opinion on that?
I think that Cassian sort of tilts towards Emir a little bit and gives them like a sort of knowing body language, like, oh, I see why you brought them here, before sort of like scooching their stool out and giving their full attention to De Niro. Petitioners for me, how novel. And you're interested in the vote. Does that mean that you're coming all the way up here from Red Row?
Well, we have council members up and down, so I assumed you already knew whereabouts we lived, so yes.
Ah, that must have been such a hardship for you. Have you had to make this journey before? Please tell me of your experience. Did the marvels of the canal just absolutely stun you?
He like stalls for real. It's like it is very pretty. I almost can't imagine. Well, maybe if I had water walking magic or something, I couldn't. I still couldn't imagine living with it. It all seems delicate. Maybe as it gets down, where the suffering people are, it gets a little more sturdy. Is that like, that's like my simple answer, I think, because I haven't been here in a while. I have made this journey before. The pigeon count has been a little higher than I last remember. But I imagine that's by design.
Oh, of course, everything inspires by design, but he is absolutely just like ecstatic at your rudimentary sort of description of the structure of Spire. And he says, since you don't get to travel very much, I've assembled a bit of a collection here. It's almost a microcosm of the different levels of our fair city. We can walk through it if you like over in the sculpture gallery. I would love to show you and to get your reaction to... Do you know any artists, by chance? I have some pieces from Red Row, but I feel as though perhaps they don't convey the same suffering that they used to, that times have changed, and I'd love to get an updated look at that level of the city itself, down in the dirt.
I guess there is no dirt up here. Wow. I was
mean,
like,
to be
it's
fair,
so clear.
Red Row is literally underground.
Yes. It's like so it's so unnaturally clean. It probably is contributing to him being like, what? Like, I feel like I'm leaving like a dust cloud or something, even though he's definitely not. It's like how he has been carrying himself is almost a little too delicate for this. Like if he conducted himself roughly, like the whole house could break, like shatter or something like that. And his frame seems a little too big for him in this moment. He mulls it over. I could give you like a fair. I wouldn't say I'm an art critic, but like a resident of the Spire from down under, I am. So since you're looking to fully reflect all of it, I suppose I can do that if you do something for me. Well, I mean, like beyond like the formal, like the business of like, I don't really know what petitioning is, but if it's about like wondering where you stand on the vote and why, and if you're gonna go, then I can do that. Yeah. Marigold, do you want to come with me?
I'll come with you.
Okay, thank you. Like whatever you might consider a retro perspective, I feel like you're not going to get much better than us. So, like, if Cassian gets up to go, he will follow
Yeah, I
suit,
think
and he's almost a little scared at this point, like not fully taking in the fact that Marigold's not visible on this. So he's like, looks back, like, "Where are you?" And then it's like, okay, we can. It's part of his tricks and shit. Marigold would do that.
yeah, I think that Cassian has fully stood and sort of sweeps you off with a hand, like not quite touching your lower back, but guiding you to another room where there are indeed sort of sets of, sculptures, art objects, various sort of installations. Marigold, you can come. He looks utterly disinterested in you sort of attending this. They are clearly focused on De Niro, I think just fully like
It's
hard
you're not
eyes.
even there.
Yeah.
It's more so De Niro's sad, begging look. That was the only thing that could possibly incentivize you to go.
But Cassian will sort of wander, I think, throughout these various statues that are clearly arranged. And I think that even not being an art critic or like an artsy person in general, you can tell that they do go from sort of more like low and grounded and sort of suffering to these like higher, more delicate, elegant, airy pieces. But the sort of lower statues, which are presumably from down Spire, are very much exaggerated. This is art that was created for the purpose of someone who doesn't know what suffering is to think, oh, that's suffering. Like, there isn't like real emotion. It's just very much like poverty drag. Like, but he will sort of wander through and let you take a look and say, you were asking about my voting. I mean, of course I take my duty to the city very, very diligently. I'm absolutely going to the vote. I can't let that that dear Astrid get her way.
It's okay. It's okay. She is quite the character. I don't know of any other way to describe her. Like he leads, like as if it's a secret. I don't really mind any sort of description along those lines. It is important to keep the structure of it all intact, after all.
It's incredible that you've come to these conclusions on your own without the breadth of experience and knowledge that you could have gained from growing up Spire.
Well. I don't know how to take that. He says it out loud. And but
Take it as the compliment it was meant as, my dear.
Okay, I can do that. The words might make more sense coming out of my mouth looking at these, but like, what do you suppose is like the purpose of this? Like, this contrast is so big. Like, under Spire is just like, it looks like it's romantic suffering or something. I don't think suffering's romantic. I also don't think that's what life is here. But also, I've been a guard for enough of Spire types to understand that there is a difference the further along we go.
His hand has sort of moved from like guiding you along your lower back up to clasp your shoulder again, and he says, "Oh, numbed to your own conditions because you've just lived in them for so long. It's truly, you need to, like me, embody the entirety of the Spire to truly see the balance and gradient and beauty of the whole
Kill him.
structure. He's on your side. He's gonna vote the way you want him to.
Not if we kill all of the council members. But that hit like De Niro, as this has been going on, has been thinking like, this can't get any worse. This can't get any worse. And now he's thinking like, the next guy who's like an enigma has to be the worst one. We might have to kill these people. But he obviously doesn't say that. Obviously, he just like like the effort it takes for him to think seems exaggerated on like an external look inward. But I'm sure like Cassian is probably keen enough to note that like this probably is just like something that requires a lot of brain power for someone like De Niro, which is the kindest way of putting it. So he kind of leans in after a moment too long of thinking. Have you ever suffered?
Of course I have. Everyone has some degree of suffering. What really matters is the intensity, the sort of collective effervescence of the suffering in itself. The suffering up here is... it's individual, brought about by our own sort of machinations. It has one in the Silver Quarter suffers, another experiences great joy because that suffering has brought about something great for them. Below, as you sort of go down the spire, though, that balance doesn't exist. The true beneficiary of the suffering of the down spire, rather than the other citizens, is the heart itself. That great beating hole below our city. It needs the torture of those closest to it so that it can feed, so that it can maintain everything about the Spire itself. And that is, of course, my job on the council, to keep things as they are, to keep the heart content and the rest of the Spire along with it.
Can call this a conflict of opinion or something along those lines, but sure, it is not a secret to you that there are more humans down under than up here. I also understand the point of what you're saying. Like all of these words feel like it's almost painful for him to like speak at this guy's level, but he's forcing himself to. Humans are fragile, and if there really was like an imbalance of suffering, we would it's not that there would be an imbalance, it's that jobs don't get done and then your neighbor doesn't show their face for too long, or people go missing, or people make bad deals, or they just leave you with a hope for something better. It almost seems like it would be cruel to keep going on if there was only a promise for suffering down here. But I have to imagine, like Cassian probably feels like something flex under his grip where he has Daniro. There has to be hope for less suffering in the future to even exist at all.
My darling, did you come here then to try and sway me to approving this building ordinance to allow these zones of renewal as some sort of hope for Red Row?
No, I'm so sorry. I almost got carried away. This is like a matter of philosophy. Personally, it's going to displace very many people that I care about and live with no regards for their like money, safety. Yeah, so that wasn't purely business. It was to pick at your brain because I think we can only take so much suffering before it turns to death, personally. And that doesn't seem like what I see here. But I don't know, like you seem like a busy enough guy that offering to give you a tour of the lower levels may not be something you're fully interested in.
Oh, gods forbid. I get quite enough of the lower levels from all of this. I don't need to actually set foot down there. Although, of course, I appreciate you coming up to visit me, and this offer is terribly gracious. What is Marigold doing while all of this is happening?
Is there art from the perch here?
Yes, I think that
From the perch.
like the perch itself, the art is sort of actually hanging outside. So there's like sculpture gallery indoors in glass walls, and then on the outside of the building itself is a sort of sculpture from the perch.
And was it made by someone in the perch, or was it made by someone from like up here interpreting what happens in the perch?
Go ahead and give me a roll. Investigate. And what is the perch? Low society?
Cool. Okay, so that's 2 dice. That's an 8.
As you are examining this art, let me pull up my stress thing so I see if you have to actually take fallout. Or actually take stress. Is an 8 stress, potentially? Me with 5,000 PDFs pulled up.
I mean,
8
I
success,
only have
take no
2
stress. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, you are examining this sculpture. I think that it is, like the perch itself, sort of a mismatch of like wood at odd angles, very precarious looking, almost more of a mobile than like an actual like hanging statue. So it's but there is sort of strung throughout the wood are little pieces and baubles, bent nails and marbles and little bits of broken glass. And there's, I think, a ring. And you, as someone from the perch and as a bound, you can feel that ring, death has a ghost in it.
That was going to be my next question.
Yep. That is definitely, there is like, maybe the reason that this statue is outside and not inside is less aesthetic and more like it is unnerving, because there is bad vibes coming from this ring. Which does imply that it was made by someone in the perch.
Mix, bells, tolls, warning. Not a question about politics, but a genuine question about your arts. Do you have another one of the some more samples of the mirror that makes up your beautiful mask? I want to question something, but I want to show you what's reflected in the mirror.
Oh no, I commissioned this from someone else. I'm not much of an artisan myself, but I have other mirrors, of course, if you needed a reflection.
Yes, please.
And he will sort of lead you across the room. Less a mirror, or I guess it is technically still a mirror, but embedded in the floor, sort of sunken down, with a thin layer of water over it. And he sort of will gesture.
Tell me, what do you see in this mirror? I'm not present in the reflection at all.
He sort of looks down at the reflection, looks back up, sort of tries to judge the angles and figure out why it would be that you're not reflected. And the only conclusion he comes to is, are you from out of Spire then? I was promised that this would reflect the city.
No, I am from Spire. I am from the Perch, actually. And I will lead them towards the piece from the Perch. You see, it's interesting. Your thesis is genuinely interesting, the idea of reflecting the entire city, taking away your own identity to better see what is outside of yourself. But you see... Okay, hang on. How mean do I want to be to this person?
If you're not going to kill them, at least be mean to them.
You're so right. But you see, when your head is so far up your asshole that all you see is darkness, you're not going to see the real truth. And I reach out a hand towards the ring, and I again completely disrespect the rules of Spire, and I try to exorcise the ghosts to give them peace.
Absolutely. Do you have anything specifically for exorcism, or is this just raw dogging attempt. I mean, you have ghostly things on you.
And I could take some stress to shadow, because like I can mark stress to shadow to manipulate the ghosts on me. So could I mark stress to shadow to manipulate the ghosts in this ring?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Is this a D6 or a D3?
Let's call it a D6.
Cool. Shadow Fallout, let's go. Shadow Fallout, let's go! I rolled a 4, so I'm at a total of 6 shadow stress.
Okay. Is this a D10? No, it's an 8.
So I'm at 1 total for the check value. Because I
Unfortunate,
have
but
5 shadow resistance.
I rolled a 7, so you're safe for now. But okay. Yeah, I mean, what does it look like when you exorcise this ghost?
I think there is a rush of smoke coming out of the ring. I think it starts as this kind of like deep purple, and then it kind of like watercolor, like spreading across like a wet page, like it kind of like blossoms and blooms, and as it goes further and further out, it turns into the same gold as Marigold's eyes. And in that smoke, kind of like a cartoon ghost, there are just these 2 kind of like holes for eyes and a hole for a mouth, and there is a lot of screaming for a good like 5 seconds before the ghost wisps away and peters out.
Cassian was working themselves up, like ready to sort of call the guards or call Emir, who, you know, as a servant would obviously take his bidding and throw you out. But at, I think, this show of power, he pauses and almost hesitantly, like seeming for the first time as like small as he actually physically is, approaches the mobile and you and sort of looks it over and stares for a moment and then turns to De Niro and says, "You can feel that now, right? It's the piece has been cleared of its suffering and is now devoid of meaning." And he like grabs it by the top and smashes it to the ground.
As he does that, Marigold reaches down and kind of gestures at the ring, and he says, "So you won't mind if I take this, would you?"
You've already removed any value that it had. I don't see why not.
Great. And Marigold kind of like flicks up in the air, kind of like grabs it properly in a fist, and leaves.
He watches after you for a moment before, like, very obviously deciding to pretend that that never happened, and just turns to De Niro and says, "Well, where were we?" And I think that that is a good place to cut to Emir and Freddie inside.
Just all I'm saying is just relax a little bit. Just breathe and stop pinching my elbow, please.
I don't know.
You put us in this situation. You're the one who said that we were married.
What else do you say to anybody about, like, being a bitch to them other than, I don't know?
Oh, many things. Many Many. I can probably the whole of common language, actually. That's fine. If you wanted to be married to me, which I know you obviously do, that's fine. However, now that's going to go round, Freddie.
If we sit here and think about it, there being now a fuss about the lost daughter of the Rose of Sharon family marrying a servant or whatever, I think maybe it's a good thing of I will maybe properly be disowned or something, and then maybe you'll have some status. I really don't know.
I said that's a best case scenario type thing. Even then, pretty raw deal. My end.
My elbow is just like flashing as we're speaking.
I'm trying to ignore that, by the way. Your little situation.
I don't even want to know what it's saying right now. So
I don't think you could tell me what it was.
Yeah. Unless we wanted to continue, I want to continue to torture the both of us, and we can find out, but that doesn't seem very helpful right now.
Yeah, but you kind of want to, don't you?
I think I'm stretching De Niro's like sleeve. Like I'm just like doing this right now.
Why do you need a truth-telling tattoo in order to make any confessions? Just
why am I drinking right now?
I don't even know what to ask you. If I'm honest.
Didn't not want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about 10 years ago that it would be the emergency out.
And now that we're both out,
I guess pretending now will put some marker on the map for something, but and I think she is like not like looking at you. Her elbow is just like flashing underneath the jacket. I think it's like what your camera is doing right now is what's happening to her elbow. And I think she absentmindedly is like still just like reaching to like just like touch your arm. Just to touch you and like nears like kind of has like steadily been like pushing herself closer to you. And it's this weird thing of like she doesn't know herself if this is like her seeking out comfort because you're a body next to her, or selfishly seeking out your body for her own comfort, or seeking out comfort from you. Like it could be so many different things that she doesn't know about herself. And it is I think she is like playing with the sleeve in particular because it is this on and off thing of like, should I just take the jacket off? And we can find out a lot before the day ends.
I don't think this is the time or the place for you to take off the jacket. Metaphorically speaking. think, Freddie, if you are going to make some overdue confessions, I'd rather you want to do them, not be shoehorned into it, you know?
That's the fun thing about information. Just, you never know exactly what comes out of everything unless everything is out there. Okay. I'm in a state. Obviously. When I went to Demos's house, Winters, I was obviously not very smart and went pretty much right after we all left for drinking.
Choices.
We drank some more when I was there, but before I got in there, I don't know, a magic reaction happened where I broke into his house and bled from one of the rose bushes that he still fucking has. And my own mistress of sorts reminded me that actions have consequences. And the little tattoo is a wonderful little reminder of how much of a liar I am. I had a kid with him. The kid's gone. Flashing. Then she takes the jacket off, finally. Is Mike still around?
He is, I think. He was sitting at the table once Cassian left the room. Mike also sort of got up to wander around. So he's somewhere about the house. He is not actually standing in the corner watching you.
Okay, great.
Old mate was like, "What is going on?" And
Yeah,
literally.
There was a second where he was like, "This is good gossip," and then he was like, "No, too much drama."
That's too much. Yeah, too much drama. I take the jacket off finally after I say, "The kid's gone." The tattoo says, "I don't know where the kid is."
I think Emir is purposefully looking at your eyes and not your arm.
The tattoo's on my arm.
I know. I said I want to hear it from you.
This is your one chance at actually getting me to say, I guess my elbow, to say the truth. And you think you're gonna get it from my mouth after all these years?
I guess silly of me to hope, hey?
Emir. I don't know where the kid is. I told
Do you
him.
want to know where the kid is?
She just sort of like kind of looks a little shocked by that answer, or like just like surprised or like jarred, and she pushes it back for a moment to continue on, just sort of say, I told him that I lost it. I lost the kid. But he's under the impression I didn't carry it to full term. And I don't know if I want to know where the kid is. Because I don't know what I exactly subjected it to when I gave him away. But I don't know. The fact that I did that is getting me in a very familiar, interesting, horrible headspace, and it's on the mind. So sorry, it kind of just came out, and I mean, I don't know if I care about what happens on my side, but I was speaking for you.
Wouldn't be the first time in Alfea, Dad. I can find out what happened to the kid
What are you talking about?
if you give me enough information. I can, and then if you're ready, if you want, or if you don't, then we have that information.
I don't think I'm supposed to know.
It wouldn't be you looking. It's an option. Don't need to. But it's an option.
Whatever you do in your free time is up to you. But it's not... I don't even think I'm supposed to even ambiently want it to happen. And there's flashing.
It's really distracting.
I don't know what to do with myself in this fucking building.
How do you know about Adea?
You mean the fact that she got bankrupt and then was exiled because of that? That business?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take a shot with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doubles.
Oh, do you pour it for her?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be like, this is so weird. But like weird in the way of like her memory that you've done service for her before.
What part of it? The we're married part, or the truth telling part, or the back in top Spire part?
You know what? All of it.
He clinks his glass and chucks it back.
Takes a shot, shoots it back. When I left, when we went off to our durances or whatever the fuck, a few years into my info brokerage, which I'm not sure exactly what you know about that, I went by Ginger at that point. It's where I met Winters. It's where I met a couple more of the contacts that I may still have, who knows. I also abandoned that life. One of the assignments was to bring Adea down. That was the overarching goal. And I don't think I knew exactly that you were under her or where you were going to be affected. What I did know is that a lot of people were going to lose their jobs. My job was to put information, plant it where it was going to be the most volatile, even if it wasn't all information that was supposed to be true or was true. It was damning enough. Numbers moved around. Really sort of easy work to do, just at your home drinking a coffee, as long as you had what you needed in front of you. And in about a month or so, Adea would be packing her bags. My realization would hit that your durance would end sooner than anyone would have thought. And I leave my life as an info broker and as Ginger, potentially putting my life in danger even to this day. But the protections of a Spire city journalist have been convenient. So that's how I know.
No is a much gentler word than I would have gone for, but
What would you have used?
that's how you did it. Well, I guess thank you.
Did I not just royally fuck over your life and profit and security into the future as potentially raising your status or if whatever? What do you mean?
Are you, Elfia, born into thinking that durance is fun? Do you think I enjoyed a single second of being indentured to someone? No matter how. Whatever our relationship was. Servitude. Servant. Boy. Pet. Whatever you want to call us. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable being a second-class citizen. And that is a kind way of putting it. So I guess thank you for allowing me to leave that much sooner than I was indentured to.
How many more months would it have been?
Freddie, if I hadn't been forced out, I think I would have stayed forever.
So that's what Mike was talking about, huh?
You end up loving the people you work for. You feel some form of duty, I guess. Loyalty. It's nice to be needed. And they need us. I don't think Mike will ever leave. And marry her. Oh, she's going to be terrible. I wish that I could do something.
Well. And I think she will take off one of the many little like white ribbons, like long sort of like ribbons that she has. And she's gonna like sort of like wind it up and put it into your hand, Emir. I can't say anything about this. But whatever you end up finding, this will lead you to the kid. And whatever you can give me, and we'll say that I was just a pissy, powerful, pregnant wife of a top Spire gentleman, and I decided to make my own moves and see what I could do for Mike.
Nadine is confused.
Freddie's giving you a clue on how to
Find the kid.
And
Yep.
Freddie's gonna do something to help Mike get out of the situation. As like it feels better for her that this would be a transaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So just to double check, Freddie, you want me to tell your child a lie?
I don't want you to talk to them necessarily. Just knowing where they are seems fine. And nothing flashes.
Okay. I think probably at that time we would hear a smashing sculpture. Oh,
And an
fuck's
ungodly scream.
sake.
And I think that is where we will wrap for tonight. Thank you all for coming. I had a great time. We will be off next week, but back the following week, the 22nd. I have been your GM, Alyssa, on the internet at a disaster queer, and pass it to my players for outros. Joe.
Hello, I have been Josephine. I am at Scary Dog Friend. I was your producer as well as a co-producer of Bad House RPG. Once more, 8 by Night just wrapped. The finale should be up on YouTube soon. And as Alyssa has said, we are not without Vampire the Masquerade World of Darkness content over here. Madness Over Manila is going to be a Philippine story told about vampires and hunters. More specifically, it'll be a story that takes place chronologically before the events of 821 Season 1, and then we go into present day with the hunters. It'll be approximately like an 8-10 episode series. More information and proper announcements about that to come. Over at Nameless Domain on Tuesdays and Thursdays, every now and then there is currently a schedule up on our Twitter. We're doing some one-shots. And if Alyssa is not on shots in the next one, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to come to California and I'm going to murder them. That's it for me. I'm going to pass it over to Nadine.
Nadine. I've been Nadine. I've been playing Emir, our beautiful sad boy. You can find me NE_ or NE _ on Twitter. Blue Sky, you can find me NE not _actor, just any actor. I'm a voice actor, player of games, and sleeper of sleepers. You can find me here, obviously. And then every other Saturday, American time, you can find me at Patihi. And I'm playing a beautiful, small, fishy barbarian. I almost gave such a big spoiler there. Don't do that. But I've had an amazing time. Throwing it over to Rook.
Hi, I'm Rook. I have been Marigold. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at RJK Games. And if you head on over to rjkgames.co.uk, you can find most of my writing. You can find poems. You can find links to my TTRPGs, including a game for 2 players about 2 vampire hunters who are trying to save the love of their life, a vampire, from being consumed by their hunger. Nada. Wait, where are you on the overlay? Nada.
Yeah. Well, almost opposite. It's okay. Oh yeah, because you're symmetrical. That's okay. I'm Netta. Or not Amir, like in this instance, because I'm nothing like. I'm so well adjusted compared to him. De Niro. That's debatable. Yeah, and I use they, the pronouns, and I play De Niro. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky. Blue Sky doesn't do underscores, so it's just transfather, and you can find me on Twitter at trans_father. I'm currently just playing on Take Your Roll, a mouse rider game with a group of 5 where we do little mouse adventures. So very I think tonally like the opposite of this. It's about helping community. So yes, I take that back. It's like there's some parallels there. It's about helping the mouse community and getting getting quest rewards in exchange for getting little mouse armor and weapon sets and trinkets, and it's so adorable. If you want adorable games, I'd recommend that. In every other Thursday, I'm playing an Animon game, which is also kind of cute, based on the anime Shaman King. Over on the Bardic Nox channel, sorry, the Master Games at 5 Pacific, so same as this, and the Bardic Nox game is at 3 Pacific on every other Thursday. So probably next Thursday. And oh my god, this was so good. Thank you. I say this every time. Thank you so much, Alyssa. This is so great. I'll pass it back.
Yeah, thank you all, and have a good night/day/time zone. Bye, y'all.